I hope Doctor brought the family to meet me.
After she waited for several men in front of her to get off, she picked up her 2 suitcases and climbed down. At first they couldn't see Eva. Several taller people blocked her from view, but then they spotted her struggling with 2 suitcases, one filled with books and the other with clothes, the sum total of her possessions at Radcliffe. Dr. Howard rushed forward.
Hello, Dr. Dykes.
He greeted her, smiling. Then she spied her favorite uncle. When she spied her favorite uncle, Eva dropped the suitcases and embraced him.
Hello, Doctor. Hello, Pum Pum.
James Dykes, Eva's father, had left the family while Eva was still quite young. Her mother, Martha, had later married Mr. Pumphrey, and the children called him Pum Pum or Pumpy. Anita ran forward and hugged her older sister.
We're so proud of you.
Stepping back, she looked long at Eva.
I want to see if all that learning has made you grow any.
And they all laughed as they took her suitcases. When they arrived home and sat in comfortable chairs, they started prying her with questions.
Where's your dissertation?
Quickly, Eva opened the largest suitcase and took out a big volume.
It looks like an Oxford dictionary.
Eva quipped. The 644-page hardbound dissertation was every bit of 2.5 inches thick. The volume now is part of the archives of the Eva B. Dykes Library at Oakwood College. A photocopy is in the Harvard Archives.
We have to stop there, but we will be right back. So don't go anywhere. Remember our number, 1-800-775-4673. We want you to call in, talk with us, tell us how you feel about allowance or no allowance.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Woohoo!
You're listening to Homeschool Companion. I'm Candy DeVore, editor of Kids Ministry Ideas magazine.
And I'm Dr. Rose Gamblin, education specialist.
And we are discussing allowance versus no allowance. How do you teach your children stewardship? Our call-in number is 1-800-775-4673. And we're doing something a little different today. We're going to try filming ourselves so that you can watch us on YouTube if you want to see what we look like. Yikes. But anyway, call us, 1-800-775-4673.
We have just a couple of announcements before we go into the meat of the subject, or maybe I should say the heat of the subject. Money's always an interesting subject. Next week we'll be talking about arts education in the homeschooling setting, and we have a special guest, Vivian Doubelstein. She is the founder and executive director of the Masters Academy of Fine Arts, which she started in 1990. She was a professional accompanist and began homeschooling her 3 children in 1889 and has homeschooled all 3 of them through high school. She says homeschooling her children was the inspiration for the Masters Academy program, which is now a national program. So we look forward to that. And that's when we'll be giving away a poster, because we figured I tried to pick one of our most beautiful posters, but I can't remember the title of it right now, but I'll remember it soon.
We do have some pretty posters with all of the gorgeous artwork.
I think this one's Jesus and the Children. So
it's one nice thing about coming to visit us here at the publishing house. If you want to bring your homeschooling kids for a tour of the publishing house and see how it works, we have amazing original artwork hanging on the walls that we'd love to share with you. Well, I'm really excited because next week, to go along with our fine arts program, we actually have a song that 2 homeschool girls, the singing cousins, Andalina and Courtney, have sent in for us to play. So we're going to be able to play play a song by them, pass it on. And it's great because these girls go every day to Grandpa's house where he homeschools them. I think they might have called in one time or two and share with us their music. And I hope it'll be an encouragement to some of these other very, very talented kids that are homeschooled to send in poems, songs, music, whatever you do for fine arts, and we'll put it on the air. Let us show your kids off.
Yeah, it's pretty easy with this technology to do these MP3s, and I have no idea what that means, but it works. So, record a little MP3. If you're using a microphone, try to make sure it has a wind guard in it so we don't get too much
noises,
ticking and stuff. But what we do is we check it out for content to make sure it's appropriate, and then we send it down to our producer who checks it out to make sure that it will sound good on the air. So give us a little bit of time, especially if you want to do this for maybe to surprise your mom or dad, or as a gift for your grandparents. So
there's one other thing I'd like to invite our listeners to do, and if for any of you adults that go on Facebook, lifetalk.net has a Facebook page, and if you go there, they have little comments and links for my homeschool companions. So check out Facebook and join us. Be a fan.
Here we start. It's time to start the debate, and here are the rules. First, we have a timer. Da-da-da-da.
Timer.
And we have a container here that we've put our questions in because, as you know, that Candy and I will be debating today. We've decided ahead of time that Candy will be for allowances and that I will be against allowances.
We're going to add a disclaimer here that all of these pro and con arguments or debates that we have aren't necessarily the opinions that we personally have. We just put them out for the process of debate. If you'll remember, we did one on Halloween, and Randy took a pro position, Randy Fischel. He said that Halloween was okay, and Rose took the position that Halloween was not. We did that for the sake of argument. And we do this exercise to help the kids learn that we don't just want to reflect what people say. We want to know what we believe. So God created us to have our own thoughts, and He wants us to dialogue with Him. We need you to call in your vote for Rose or me. Actually, it's not for Rose or me. It's for allowance versus no allowance. And it'll help us decide who wins this debate. So keep in mind that, that we are doing this for the purpose of debate.
We're going to start by each stating our position, and Candy's going to go first, and we're going to try to do this in about 30 seconds, and then from then on we'll do a minute or so.
You want to time me and I'll time you? Okay.
Well, we can just set it here, and if you press it. Okay. You're on the clock.
Alrighty. I believe that children should receive an allowance. I think that this is an important part of them learning how to handle money and how to become better stewards of the gifts that are giving them. Now, I will say this, that allowance doesn't have to be money. It can be anything that is a spendable commodity within your home. So, we can talk about that a little bit later. But I believe that it's important for our children to know how to handle money. If they're old enough to ask for things, if they're old enough to talk about counting and things like that, then they're ready for an allowance.
And I believe that kids should not receive an allowance. Children need to earn their money. You don't receive an allowance as a bona fide citizen of the United States. You have to earn your money. And I don't think we should ever hand our children something for free. It's the wrong message. And that's my position.
Okie doke. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we're ready to go here. I'm going to pull this particular little piece of paper out. Now, who does this? I read it and you respond, and then I respond?
You get to, you can read it and respond.
Okay. Do you think that allowances should be tied to chores? How long do I have?
Oh, I already started you.
Okay.
How long do you want? I was going to give you a minute.
A minute, okay. I personally do not believe an allowance should be tied to chores. I feel very strongly about that. I feel like chores, that there are things in life that you do because you are a member of a household. And for me growing up, I did not receive allowance based on my chores, but I had chores that I did until the day that I moved out of my house with my parents. And that was, it was my responsibility to clean the bathrooms, to do the dusting, and to iron. And of course that changed as my brothers became older and moved out. My ironing responsibilities grew a little less, but those were my jobs. No money attached to it. It was just my contribution as being a member of the family. And I think that that's really important. You can offer opportunities where kids can earn money, but I think that allowance needs to be separate and not attached to a chore.